Yeah, basically it's just about finding how much calories that your body can take in without like that sweet spot where you can eat but you won't get fatter. You get, so maybe for if you're a guy, you probably if you notice, if you eat a lot of meals, you notice that over the week you get like just your waist, your waist feels a bit more bigger, like you stuff a lot of fat, it feels more rounder, like you start to get more rounder, start to bulge, especially around the lower belly area. That's for guys. So I don't really, for girls it might be different, but yeah, most likely it's going to be different. Even for guys, some might store, our body works, it depends on basically your genetics. Most guys, it's just this, it's around the belly. That's why everybody is so hooked on getting in so that they can get that six pack showing. So there are other places that you can store your fat, maybe like your lower back, your legs, chest area, but usually it gets stored in the fat in your belly. So from your belly, then it now goes down to different places, and vice versa. So the thing is about knowing how much you need to eat for a particular day, and know that you won't get fat, you get leaner, like you'll be in a deficit. And deficit being that you don't, when you take food for that day, you still have space in the budget that your body has prepared for you for that day. So, and that budget is based on the amount, or can be based on how much work you do during that day. Your total, I think there's a word for it, I can't recall right now, but there's a word for a total calorie consumption per day, something like that. I don't know, man. But it's around those levels. So let's say your total calorie consumption for that day is 2000 calories, and you you only ate 1800, right? So therefore you're at a deficit of 200, which means for that day you haven't consumed something that would get you into a deficit, into a surplus rather. So you won't store that energy somewhere in your body as fat. So if you do that over a long period of time, you will get leaner. So that's basically the whole concept behind it. But I don't want to count calories, because right now, maybe in the future, maybe if I end up losing all hope, then I might have to start going calories. But I find it a bit taxing to be counting calories of all the foods, and maybe based on where I am right now, it's kind of difficult to know the exact amount of meals that I take that are calorie consuming. Like, for example, now you can't really track the amount of oils that are in the food that you take, because where I am, there's a lot of food that are very oily, right? Like in Nigeria, most of our foods are oily, and oil contains a lot of calories, like a lot. Just rice and stew, like the chicken alone, like the swallow and the stew that they use for the swallow, like all those things take a lot of calories, and you won't even know how much exactly. So you can get discouraged just by thinking about it in that way. But so what I'm trying to think about now is more or less get into an intermittent fasting phase. Although I did a video about intermittent fasting, although it was about how I did it for about 30 days. 30 days intermittent fasting, where I only ate from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., where I didn't eat at all during that time period. So my eating window was just like 6 hours a day, because I will probably sleep around 11, 12 thereabouts. So eating window was more or less just 6 hours. So, and my results were not exactly what I thought, but you can check the video out in the channel, right? So it's it's kind of, so I don't really want to be talking about calorie taking and all that. So what I'm looking at is how to effectively be in a deficit without counting calories. That's basically it. So I'm trying to think of strategies that I can use to not count calories. Be aware of them, yes. At least I'll be aware of the food that I'll take in, that, oh, hey, if I see a cake, I'll know, oh, this probably has a lot of calories. So you get, if I see pastries, if I see meat pie, I'll be like, yeah, this probably takes a lot. This is most likely there's a lot of calories in here. So knowing the foods that have a lot of calories in, and knowing the foods that don't have a lot of calories in, right? So that's basically the purpose of that. I feel it would be what would be my ticket to getting leaner and losing belly fat. So now, how do I know this? How do I know the foods that I'm taking or not taking? So literally, what I'm trying to do now is kind of reduce the number of, number of foods I eat. So I'm not really in an intermittent fasting. I'm more or less like reducing the number of things I eat. So it's kind of like fasting, but like I'm paying respect to the budget that my body gives me. I don't know if that makes sense. So let's take, for example now, let's say basically just monitoring. Let's say, for example, I think I can only eat 2,000 calories per day, right? So it means I have to be at a deficit of 1,800 calories. So now I have to, so which means that my body now is telling me that I only have a budget about 1,800 calories. So provided I will eat within this range, I won't gain fat anywhere in my body. So I might be fat. In fact, my body will now have to take from the stored fat that he already has in my body to more or less compensate for that day. I don't know if that makes sense. So that you can make a total 2,000. So if I take in 1,800 calories, so my body is going to take out the fat that is within, like that is already in me, the energy that's stored as fat in me, and convert it, use that 200 to make up for it. Use 200 out of it to make up for it. Therefore, I've gone into a deficit of 200 calories. So the main goal now is to not eat past the budget. So what are the steps that I'm taking to not eat past that budget? First one would be to eat foods that make me less hungry, and by less hungry I mean less cravings. So for example, I do this thing for like, I've been doing this thing for like 2 weeks now, where I only eat, in the morning I take in kola nut after I work out. So like one bitter kola nut, right? There are these things that are kind of like seeds, kind of bulky a bit, but they're only like 3 to 5 calories per seed. So it's very low on calories, but it has a lot of health benefits. One of them being that it helps mitigate cravings, food cravings, and this is something I can testify to because I've been using it for like past 2 weeks, and I particularly don't get any true craving till like later in the evening, like around that 2 o'clock. If I take it early in the morning, I don't get cravings like usual to eat until around that 2 p.m, 3 p.m, thereabout. So it really works a lot, and plus just the bitterness alone forces you to drink a lot of water. So you are basically filling yourself up. So it's one of those meals that just naturally, by taking it, you feel a lot more fuller, and you will not even consume like up to even 6 calories. Yes, so that's basically it. So second thing is that I become more picky with my food. So let's say, for example, now I'm not saying that you should not eat pastries. I'm not saying that you should probably like mitigate how much pastries you should take. So take for example, it's basically just focus on the pastry that you really want at that moment. Like, think about all the pastries that you want, think about all the things that you want to eat. Like, let's say for me now, I like sausage rolls, I like meat pies, I like cake. Okay, out of these 3, which ones do I really feel like eating right now? like really feel like eating right now, like I can kill somebody for it. So what I would choose would be meat pie or chicken pie. Okay, so I'll take meat pie or chicken pie. So I'll ignore completely those other two, take them for another day, then focus on chicken pie. So now the issue now, after choosing one, is that you have to make sure that now think, what type of meat pie should I eat? So because there are different types of meat pie, so you don't just eat what is available to you. You get, so you eat the type that you know that, oh, I could really use this, I could really crave chicken pie at Domino's. Not just eat what is available to you. Like if you find a meat pie that somebody does like give you, maybe you are hungry at that moment and you just go, somebody give you meat pie, or you could buy meat pie at that particular location. If you don't really feel like, but this meat pie is like, you've tried it before and you know that this meat pie sucks, like it's crap, that doesn't mean you should eat it. Like, just wait until you can get the opportunity to eat the meat pie that you want. Because if you eat that meat pie and you don't get the satisfaction that you wanted from it, most likely when you get the chance to not eat the meat pie that you really want to eat, you still eat that meat pie again. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So that's basically like extra calories. Like, it's a calorie that you could have avoided from eating. Yeah, so it's basically calories that you could have just, that's like eating something that, it really pains me, because eating something that you don't want, that you don't even derive pleasure from, and it still took out of your budget, as your calorie budget for that day, that's an offense. Like, that should be an offense. So don't do that to your body. So if I'm in a sausage roll, I don't just take any random sausage. I'll take the sausage that I want to take at that moment. So let's say I'll maybe a Pie Express, I'll take that sausage. I won't go for any gala or any ride or any bullshit like that. Even if it's easier for me to get to, I'll choose that particular sausage roll. Yeah, so that's just my intake on how calories should work and how it will be better helpful to reduce your weight without counting the calories. So just take more foods that are more filling with less calories, like bitter cola nuts, or I think potato has worked for me. All those sweet potatoes, those big chunky ones, those really do hit the spot, and they don't really take much calories as well. So just look for meals that you like, that are low on calories, and the ones that are high on calories, be very picky about them. I hope this helps, guys. See you for the next one. Till then, stay in the zone.